Hey, what's going on, Battlefielders? It's KFieLd from eXertus here, and today I'm bringing you the start of my tips and tricks series. And today's episode is going to focus simply on my settings. I know a lot of people ask me about, what do I run? Is there any special reason for it or anything like that? And to start things off, I will simply say no. There is no reason for it. It is simply due to comfort, but I will tell people anyway. Now, today we're simply going to be just looking at keybinds and why I use them. So let's get started right into it right now. The first two basic ones that are very important, full map and zoom mini map. Alright, now I'm going to show you full map first. This is full map. Alright, and the reason I have it bound to the X key is so that I can sprint and use it at the same time. Now, you may say it blocks part of my peripheral, but the fact is, I'd rather know that if I'm running down the street and I see somebody running down upper A, I can turn around right away and get ready for them to come on the A flag. Like so. And get the pick. Alright, so that's another very important one. Now, my second really important one, back in the comment section, is zoom mini map, which is left control. Another key I have that I can reach without having to stretch too far. And this is all it does. Alright, mainly I play with the mini map zoomed all the way in, like this. Or on the second zoom, which is like that. So normally the first or the third, I can't remember, is the max level of zoom. Hit it again, and that's the second level of zoom. So generally I play on that, the second level of zoom, and when I need to, I'll just completely zoom in the minimap, and then worry about it later. So that's that out of the way. I highly advise you bind those keys somewhere you can easily reach without hindering your gunplay. Very, very important stuff. This helps huge in map awareness. And map awareness, you will not get anywhere in the competitive scene or even become a good player in pubs unless you have good map awareness. And these two tools right here help tremendously. So let's see what else I have to show you guys. Going back into my settings, don't mind the earthquake here. So let's look at my video settings. Alright, I play on 720p, and there's a reason for that. Alright, I like how in 720p it's smoother and not as sharp. For some reason, when it's so overly sharp, I get headaches. But I mean, not bad ones. I just don't prefer the look of it. But mainly, the reason I play on 720p is so that my mini-map itself is bigger on my screen. I can see enemy Doritos a lot faster on my screen because they're bigger, being in a low resolution. Now, let's look at my field of view. It's set at 90. I've always had it set at 90. I've tried like 80, 82. It just doesn't feel right, so I always end up going back to 90. Now, there is a way to change that and make it go even higher, up to upwards of like 120, 130. But the problem with that is that you run into a situation called fisheye, and I am not a fan of that at all. And some people like it, I don't. I mean, some people like it because you get more peripheral vision, but I think 90 is plenty, and I think most of your fights anyway are happening in the front 90 degrees anyway, or front 180 degrees of view. Sometimes smaller even, or not 180 yet. I apologize. Front 90 degrees. Okay, so now let's look at my graphics setting. We're on custom. We have texture quality low. We have shadow quality low. We have effects quality low. We have mesh quality medium. Now mesh quality it has to do with draw distance and being able to see people, like especially 3D spotted players at further distances. So any higher, it starts dropping my frame rate, and as most competitive players will tell you, we don't care about eye candy, we care about frames. So medium is good enough for me. Terrain quality low, terrain decoration low, anti-aliasing, very, very big GPU hog, off. Post, I mean, if you need to have anti-aliasing, I recommend using post and not deferred, because deferred will really destroy a graphics card in terms of frame rate, but post is not too bad. motion blur always off. That kind of goes without saying. Anisotropic filter, I set to 4x just because it's what it's always been, and I haven't felt the need to change it. Ambient occlusion I leave off because for some reason it tends to create more shadows in my experience, and I'd rather be able to see people as clear as possible, so I leave that off. So let's go into the gameplay options here. Network smoothing factor. This is a big one. If you can get away with it, play with it entirely off. Think of it this way. This bar right here, this is all the way on, this is all the way off. This bar right here is basically a 1 to 100 millisecond slider, like ping. If you have it all the way up, and you notice you're getting shot around corners a lot faster, it's probably because that the person, the enemy in this case, is probably seeing you a split second faster than you're seeing them. So you really should turn it all the way off, or if I tend to play with it all the way off or no more than about there. Now, the only negative issue that comes with turning it all the way off is that characters tend to move a little bit sloppy. It's not so much when they're running, it's just the overall animations of like, I don't know how to say it, like when you're spectating somebody and they're moving around, they tend to be a little jerky, but that's not a big deal. It doesn't really get in our way at all. Mini-map type, satellite. Let's see what else. Now for audio, we have war tapes on. If you use headphones, good headphones, make sure enhanced stereo mode is on. Now let's go into controls here. Mouse sensitivity. We'll discuss that in a future episode because it's very important. And there's really no way to gauge what somebody's sensitivity is simply by looking at its graph, because dice are idiots and didn't do any kind of numbering like Call of Duty does. But that's another story for a different day. Now, the last thing I want to say is that make sure you have raw mouse input turned on. This will do away with any in-game mouse acceleration. You want this on always. No exceptions. No exceptions. Trust me when I say that. I wouldn't lie to you guys. I'm trying to think of anything else I could tell you real quick. We'll go back into Keybindings. So we went over the full map on foot. Let's see here. I have prone set to one of my side mouse keys so I can hit it much faster. As far as zoom, I have it set to hold right mouse button, do not toggle. Switch inventory, I do not use the mouse wheel at all. Now here is the big one. This is something that everybody needs to have an extra mouse button for this. Toggle primary weapon. Now this will come into play in some other tips I will show you in future episodes, but make sure if you have an extra mouse button, get toggle primary bound to one of those keys that's in easy reach to hit, and I'll show you exactly what it does right now if you're not sure. So I'm going to hit toggle primary a couple times. Look what happens. See how fast I was able to switch? Very important, especially in competitive where you get the drop on a couple people. You spray around the corner, you're out of bullets, and you can finish them off with the Rex or whatever pistol you happen to use. Very, very important, and like I said, it'll come into play with some other techniques I'm going to show you in future videos. So I think there's one more thing I need to go over here. I think it's gadgets. If you're playing a medic especially, you want to have select gadget 2 bound to a mouse key like the mouse wheel, because it's your defibs. You want to be able to defib as fast as you can, because if it takes you a long time to defib, if you're going over somebody's body, sitting there holding defib, and it takes you a long time to take your mouse out, or you defib and then you got to hit number 1 again. That's time. That's a long time. It's time enough to get you killed. That's why that gadget works hand in hand with toggle primary, because I can hit my gadget and res, and then hit toggle primary, and my weapon's back up immediately. So that's why I have gadget 2 on my middle mouse wheel push button. So I'll do it again. And then on my thumb button, I have toggle primary. So very, very fast there. So I can't think of really anything else that I missed. I went over my video settings, went over my field of view. Oh, I also use colorblind support. I like it because it shows dead squad mates in green and not just blue like everybody else. And sometimes in a pub, I really don't care about resing random people who aren't helping the team, but I'll res my squad mates. They're easier to identify. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys learned something from it. I highly suggest trying out some of my keybinds, see if they work for you. Let me warn you now. You're not going to get used to it in a day. Give it 3 or 4 days up to a week to get used to it, and I guarantee you're going to be a much faster player and even a better player if you just follow my lead here. So guys, that's the end of the video, and I hope to catch you in From Zero to Hero episode 2, and we will be going over sensitivity and some other little trade secrets, should I say, in that episode. So have a good one, Battlefielders, and I'll catch you on the flip side.